Very good morning to all my dear students. I hope that all of you are safe and doing well at your home. You might be attending all the online lectures, completing your assignments related with respective subjects. So, welcome to the industrial pharmacy, and let's go through the industrial pharmacy. So we are on to the pilot plant scale-up techniques. So what is the pilot plant? Pilot plant, it is particularly the process of shifting the lab scale techniques to that of the industrial commercial scale. What is the plant? The plant is nothing but the place where the 5 M's they will work. That is the man, machine, material, method, and the money. So there is a great concern and there is a great collaboration of all these things in case of the scale up processes. We already started pilot plant scale up technique, and today we are on to the third lecture of the pilot plant. In our very first lecture, we had gone through the various definitions, objectives, and the scale up steps that are involved, 5 to 6 different steps that are involved whenever we want to go for the scaling up. Today also we will be going to have the revision of these 6 steps. In the second lecture, we had gone through the general considerations. As far as the general considerations was concerned, we saw the reporting responsibilities, the personnel requirements, the space requirements, a review of the formula, raw materials, equipments, production rates, process evaluation, master manufacturing procedures, product stability, and uniformity. We also highlighted onto the GMP, that is the good manufacturing practices in respect of personnel, in respect of training, in respect of equipment, in respect of procedure, in respect of validation, and all the things. As such, if we see the GMP, it is such a topic that which may require the whole lecture itself. So it is very difficult to get covered into the very short time as far as the GMP is concerned. But what is important during scaling up, as far as the GMPs are concerned, we should know and we should have idea of that. So that is the purpose behind inclusion of the GMP in this particular considerations of the pilot plant scaling up. Today we will going to discuss onto the scale up process associated with the solid dosage form. Whenever we are talking about the solid dosage form, in case of pharmaceutical, what will come in our mind, that is the tablet, the most commonly used solid dosage form in case of the pharmaceutical. So how to scale up during the process of scaling up for the tablet product or the tablet dosage form, what are the different considerations to which we should give attention, so that we need to study and understand while studying the scaling up process for the solid dosage forms. So prototypically we will study the tablet one. So here we need to consider the different aspects, like the aspects related with the material handling system, the blending processes, In case of blending processes, the different equipments that are used and the scale up concentration associated with the equipment and the blending. Then we have to go through the process of granulation. We have to give consideration toward the binders, the process of drying, the different dryers that are used, that is the tray dryer, fluidized bed dryer, the reduction of the particle size, that is the significance of the particle size, the blending, that is the mixing of the API along with the excipients, and the specialized granulation procedures if they are there. Then we have to consider the slugging, dry compaction, compression, and last but not the least, the tablet coating. So somehow or rather at one or at another stage, so all these processes need to be considered during the process of scaling up in case of the solid dosage form. So let's recall the definition of the scale up techniques. What the scale up is? Yes, it is the art. So it is the art for designing of prototype using the data obtained from the pilot plant model. So when we are applying to that of the commercial production, the lab scale results are scale up to the pilot and then from pilot to that of the plant level. Now, what are the steps that are involved? See, already we had gone through this. The first and most important, that is the defining the product economics. The more attention has to be paid toward the money based on the projected market size and the competitive selling and provide guidance for allowable manufacturing costs. The second aspect or the second step in case of scaling up, that is to conduct the laboratory studies and scale up planning at the same time. The third step, that is the defining the key rate controlling steps in the proposed processes. The fourth one is the conduct the preliminary larger than laboratory studies with the equipment to be used in rate controlling step to aid in plant design. The fifth one is the design and construction of a pilot plant, including provisions for process and environmental controls, cleaning and sanitizing systems, packaging and waste handling systems, and meeting the regulatory agency requirements. And last but not the least, the sixth step during scale up, that is the evaluation. To evaluate the pilot plant results in terms of products, in terms of processes, including process economics, to make any corrections and a decision on whether or not to proceed with a full scale plant development. So all these processes that are the basis for any kind of scaling up, whether it may be parenteral, whether it may be solid dosage form, whether it may be liquid dosage form, or whether it may be a semi-solid dosage form. For all, we have to go through these 6 steps. Now let's come to the pilot plant design for the tablet. So when we are talking about the pilot plant design for the tablet, the primary responsibility of the pilot plant staff is to ensure that the newly formulated tablets developed by product development personnel will prove to be efficiently, economically, and consistently reproducible on a production scale. Yes, the people who are in the process of production, they should identify the purpose. They should have understanding behind the formulation and development of a particular dosage form that is coming through the F&D department. The design and construction of the pharmaceutical pilot plant for tablet development should incorporate features necessary to facilitate maintenance and the cleanliness. What type of tablet has to be manufactured? Whether it is a disintegrating, whether it is a enteric coated, whether it is a film coated, whether it is sugar coated, whether it is chewable tablet, whether it is sublingual tablet. Based on that, the design of the pilot plant that should be decided. If possible, it should be located. Yes, this is most important as far as the location is concerned. It should be located on the ground floor to expedite the delivery and shipment of the supply, because most of the machinery, these are very difficult to handle and these are very difficult to shift to the floors. So that's why it is advisable to have these onto the ground floor. Extraneous and microbiological contamination must be guarded against by incorporating the following features in the pilot plant design. So there should be a strict control as far as the dust particles are there, as far as the microorganisms are there. So that should be controlled by setting up various systems. In that, the very first one, that is the fluorescent light fixtures, that should be the ceiling flush type. They should be mounted onto the ceiling. The various operating areas should have floor drain to simplify cleaning. At the corner, there should be a drainage system onto the floor so that the cleaning that will becomes easy. The area that should be controlled one. The control refers to that of the air conditioning and with that of the humidity. The area should be air conditioned and humidity controlled. The floors, they should be having high density concrete and they should be installed. The high density concrete floors that should be installed. The walls in the processing and packaging areas should be enamel cement finish on concrete so that it is easy to clean, it is easy to wash. Equipments in the pharmaceutical pilot plant should be similar to that used by production division manufacture of tablet. The same kind of equipment or the same kind of equipment in smaller size, they should be used in case of the pilot plant. Material handling system. The material handling system, it consists of, in the laboratory, materials are simply scooped or poured by hand. But in intermediate or large scale operations, the handling of this material often becomes necessary because the amount is larger one. It is in the kgs, it is in the tons. So it is very difficult to handle all these with the help of the scoop and the traditional processes of the pouring. So we should have the automated system, we should have the cranes, we should have the robotic systems so that these should be lifted, carried, and placed wherever these are required. If a system is used to transfer materials, that is shifting from one place to another, during the process of transfer, sometimes the chances of cross contamination are there. So if the transfer should be there for more than one product, the steps must be taken to prevent the cross contamination of these products. They should be properly managed so that the mixing should not occur and the contamination should not occur, so that ultimately the qualities of the material that should be maintained. Any material handling system must deliver the accurate amount of the ingredient. We need not to add manually, but we are using the automated systems. But these automated systems should be validated ones so that they should give the accurate amount of ingredient. Suppose if we want a zero point 0.9 gram, we should get the zero point 0.9 gram. It should not be zero point 0.8, it should not be 0.1 or 1.1, like that. The type of system selected also depends on the characteristics of the material. Based on the type of material, if it is volatile, we should have the proper system. If it is aqueous, we should have the proper system. If it is semi-solid, we should have the proper system. If it is solid, if it is powder, accordingly we should have the system. More sophisticated methods of handling materials such as vacuum loading systems, metering pumps, screw feed systems. These are sophisticated one. And nowadays these are going to be implemented in case of the industries. There is a pneumatic system in which through a pipe the material that is going to be provided with the help of the application of the air. Dry blending. Now again, this is most important one. Dry blending. The powders to be used for encapsulation or to be granulated must be well blended to ensure the good drug distribution. The mixing should be proper so that at one location the API should not remain, at another location the API should not remain in too much high. So it should be evenly distributed. There should have the proper distribution system. Inadequate blending at this stage could result in discrete portion of the batch being either high or low in potency. Yes, the different batches with the different results, the different batches with the different release pattern, the different batches, the difference into the plasma drug concentration. This is because if the uniform distribution that would not happen, and this is more prominent in case of the drugs like say the cardiotonic digoxin. It is more prominent in case of the anti-diabetic drugs like say the tolbutamide and all. See, because these are the drugs which are to be given into the very small amount, and these are highly potent one with the low therapeutic index. So a slight increase into their concentration or slight decrease into their concentration that will lead to the over medication and under medication respectively. If there is a digoxin, the digoxin slight increase into the dose that is ultimately resulting into the cardiac arrest. The same is the case related with that of the anti-diabetic drug. If the required amount of drug is not there, if the under medication had been occurred, if there is a low into the drug concentration in the particular batch or into the particular tablet, then in such a case that will lead to the severe hypoglycemic condition. So again, the severe hypoglycemic condition that is very dangerous. And if it is so, ultimately at industry level also the total batch that will fails. So when the batch will fail, ultimately the industry has to bear all the expenditure. Simply just to produce another batch, the work will not stop there. The industry has to call back, and to call back the materials, to call back the dispatched products, that may lead to the loss of crores of rupees to that of the industry. Production that will remain another one. Steps should also be taken to ensure that all the ingredients are free of lumps and the agglomerates, so that that will lead to that of the dose dumping. For these reasons, screening and milling of the ingredient usually makes the process more reliable and reproducible. So before going for the mixing, before going for the blending system, the material they should be subjected to that of the screening in order to get the materials of uniform size, so that there should be a uniform distribution. The equipments that are very commonly used for the blending, you can see the list of equipments. The various equipments like V-shape blender is used, double cone blender is used, ribbon blender is used, slant cone blender is used, bin blender is used, orbiting screw blenders, vertical and horizontal with high intensity mixers. These are also used for the process of blending. And special considerations need to be given. The duration of blending, if it is just for 10 minutes, it should be there for 10 minutes. It should not be more than that. If it is for 10 minutes, it should not be for 5 minutes. The blender loading, if 5 kgs has to be loaded, it is as per the specification of the equipment. We should go for loading of the 5 kgs, not over, not below. Size of blender, yes, based on the size there is a capacity, based on the size there is a rotation. So all these considerations are necessary to be paid attention to them. Granulation again, it is the most important step. during the development of a solid tablet dosage form. The most common reasons for which the granulation these are carried out that can be justified with the different reasons, like say the granulation that is carried out for the process of flow properties to the material to impart the good flow property, to improve the density, to change the particle size distribution, and to have the uniform dispersion of the APIs. So the processes that involve the consideration onto the step to impart good flow properties to the material, to increase the apparent density of the powders, to change the particle size distribution, and the fourth one, uniform dispersion of active ingredients. The method of granulation, whether it will be wet granulation, whether it will be dry granulation method. For each process, there is a consideration which is to be needed, which is to be uh, considered during the scaling up. If it is the wet granulation, so traditionally it will be carried out with the help of use of the Sigma blade mixer or with the help of use of heavy duty planetary mixers. So wet granulation can also be prepared using tumble blenders equipped with high speed chopper blades. Nowadays, what will happen? The multifunctional processors, these are the equipment which will carry out all kinds of processes like mixing, like say granulation, like say drying, like say sieving, lubrication, everything that will happen in case of a single equipment. These are also introduced one, and these are going to be used in industries. More recently, the use of multifunctional processors that are capable of performing all functions required to prepare a finished granulation, such as dry blending, wet granulation, drying, sizing, and lubrication in a continuous process in a single equipment. Fluidized bed granulators. So fluidized bed granulation, if we are using, then the attention need to be paid to all these points. The process inlet air temperature, what it should be according to the specification, it should be there. Atomization, air pressure, air volume, the volume, liquid spray rate, the rate at which it will spreads, nozzle position and number of spray heads. As the number of spray heads are getting increased, the process of granulation it is also getting increased, but it should be at a specified point. Product and exhaust air temperature. Yes, the air that is injected through the inlet and it has to be taken out through the exhaust. So what the temperature is required at these two different stages. The filter porosity, the size of the air inlet system, cleaning frequency, how frequently they need to be cleaned, every week, every day, every month. Likewise, the bowel capacity. So all these points need to be considered as far as the FBG is concerned. That is the fluidized bed granulation and the fluidized bed granulators. Binding is the most important step where we are using the binders in order to form the granules, and they will be having their different reasons as already we saw. Used in tablet formulations to make powders more compressible. Yes, it is very difficult to handle the powder form, so the powder need to be compressed, and the binder that will help in order to hold the powders and to produce tablets that are more resistant to the breakage. The binder they will offer hardness to that of the tablet. So because of that, the tablet that will not remain much fragile and they will not undergo breaking when these are subjected to that of the mechanical shock during handling. In some instances, the binding agent impart viscosity to the granulating solution so that transfer of fluid become difficult. This problem can be overcome by adding some or all binding agent in the dry powder prior to the granulation. The binder that is to be prepared in the form of a slurry that is sticky, and when we are adding this slurry into the powder, so it will impart viscosity to that of the granulating solution. So that will increase the problems during the process of the blending. So because of this, it is advisable that the binder they need to be added into the powder itself when it is in the dry condition. Some granulation when prepared in production size equipment take on dough-like consistency and may have to be subdivided to a more granular and porous mass to facilitate the drying. If the dough is formed, it is very difficult to form the granules. So that's why it is subdivided, and the granules they has to be prepared by passing it through the granular sieves. This can be accomplished by passing the wet mass through an oscillating type granulator so that the granules they will get produced with a suitably large screen or a hammer mill with either a suitably large screen or no screen at all. The material that is passed through the oscillating type of granulator, or these are passed through the large sieves, or these are subjected to that of the hammer mill, and then these are passed through the sieves so that the granules of the required size that can be obtained. After the process of granulation, the important stage during the development of tablet it is the drying. The most common conventional method that we are using for drying granulation continues to be the circulating hot air. The hot air oven it is the equipment which is used, which is heated by either steam or electricity. Now the important factor to consider as a part of scale up of an oven drying operation are the airflow, its rate, the temperature of the air, and the depth of the granulation on the tray. If the depth is too much or if the layer is too much thick, again the process of granulation and the process of drying that cannot occur properly. So there should be a coordinated combination of all these, that is the flow of air, the temperature of air, and the thickness of the granule bed. If the granulation bed is too deep or too dense, the drying process will be inefficient. Yes, already I told you. And if soluble dyes are involved, the migration of the dyes to the surface of the granules will take place. If the granules they will contain the dyes as a coloring agent, then that will lead to the migration of dyes to the surface of the granules. So again, which is not desirable one. Drying times at specified temperatures and airflow rates must be established for each product and for particular oven bed. Based on the type of equipment, based on the type of product, based on the type of ingredient, the drying time and the duration and the airflow rate that should be optimized one. The FBD fluidized bed dryers are an attractive alternative to the circulating hot air ovens. So because of the disadvantages associated with the oven, that is the it require electricity, the non-maintenance of the proper temperature may leads to the affecting the properties and tearing of the burning of the materials. So that's why the FBD that is very popularly used in case of the industries. The important factor considered as part of Scale up fluidized bed dryer are optimum loads, rate of airflow, inlet air temperature, and humidity. The load, that is the material to be added, the rate of airflow, the temperature, and the humidity. These need to be optimized one for the process of the drying. The tray dryer, when we are using, the following parameter that need to be considered during the process of scaling up, depending on the product, depending on the material, depending on the equipment, depending on the requirement. So what are these factors? What are these parameters? The airflow, air temperature, depth of the granulation on the trays, monitoring of the drying processes by the use of moisture and temperature probes. The probe systems, the automated systems are to be introduced during the process of drying in order to monitor the level of the moisture, in order to monitor the temperature. Drying times at specified temperatures and airflow rate for each product. Fluidized bed dryer, when this is used, we need to consider the following aspect. The load, that is the amount of material that is to be added, the airflow rate, the inlet air temperature, and the humidity of the incoming air. So more or less all these parameters are common to all the processes. So with this, at this point, we will stop here only onto the FBD. The attendance link is already there into the chat box. I request you all to please give your attendance. Thank you very much. Have a good day to all of you. Stay safe and follow all the norms during this COVID-19 pandemic. We will meet in tomorrow's lecture. Thank you very much. Have a good day to you all.